Hi and welcome to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Today's video I will be showing some items related to the Beatles LP Hey Jude, so please come and join me. So hello and another wonderfully warm welcome today to BeatleDave's Beatles channel. Hope I find all you fantastic Beatles people doing really well out there. Hope you've been getting plenty of Beatles bargains as well, and thanks for joining me again today. Well, today's video I'm going to be showing you guys a collection of items based on the 1970 Beatles album Hey Jude, which was released in the USA on the 26th of February 1970, while in the UK we had to wait until 1979 before it's released here, although we did have some export copies that were re-imported in the early 70s. So that will be coming up very, very shortly, but before then, it's time for something completely different. It's Ask BeatleDave, yeah! So yes, welcome to Ask BeatleDave, where I'll be answering your questions that you have about anything Beatles related, maybe about anything that I've shown or haven't shown, maybe it's something to do with the guys' solo careers, just about anything that you can think of, and I'll endeavour to answer it right here for you guys. So today's question is from Andrew Bowman. How you doing, Andrew? Hope you're well, my friend out there. And Andrew asks, BeatleDave, do you collect later or earlier releases of Apple artists, and if so, who? Well, actually, I collect just about every Apple related artist on vinyl or CD, mainly from the USA or UK, and very occasionally from other countries, that's if I can find anything. But you know, the Apple Records catalogue is such a difficult one to collect when you see actually the broad spectrum of releases that they had on the label, from the early mono albums of things like Two Virgins, you know, James Taylor, Jackie Lomax, to the unreleased albums like Delaney and Bonnie, The King of Fa by Brute Force. I mean, it really is such a minefield to collect some of this stuff. I mean, but I'm still trying to find a few UK and USA releases, which I still don't have. So as I always say, it's a work in progress. So Andrew, my friend, I really hope that answers your question for you. And guys, if you want to contribute to Ask BeatleDave, why not give me a question in the comments and I'll endeavour to answer it in a future episode. It's that simple. So please me by getting involved and ask me some super questions. Okay now, so moving on, it's time for I Call Your Name. So yes, it's on to them old shout outs, and it's a great big BeatleDave hello to M, J. Carlos Rubio, who's in Spain, Philippe Butenmuller, Tolheisen, Nick Elias, hiya Nick, Lee Schaefer, Bob Belknap, hiya Bob, and Paul Lee. So that's a great big hi to you guys from yours truly, BeatleDave. And if you're watching this, guys, and you want to shout out, just make a comment on one of my videos and you'll get a mention. It's as simple as that. So on to the main event then now, and I present to you guys a collection of items based on the Beatles LP Hey Jude, so please come and join me. Hey Jude was released in the USA on Apple Records on the 26th of February 1970 and featured non-album and B-side tracks that were not previously issued on a Capitol release. The initial idea was conceived by Allen Klein after renegotiating a much more lucrative deal with Capitol Records in 1969 for the Beatles, which required them to release one compilation album every year. Alan Steckler, who worked for ABK-CO and Apple, began choosing songs not previously on a Capitol album in the US and also concentrating on more recent singles while trying to span their whole career. Steckler also chose not to include the original single version of Love Me Do, the Capitol 45 of A Hard Day's Night, and the B-sides I'm Down and The Inner Light. He also overlooked From Me to You, Misery, and There's a Place, being first issued by VJ in the US and were also never released on a Capitol album. Originally, the album was to be called The Beatles Again, but was changed shortly before the release to Hey Jude to promote the top-selling single which kicked off side 2. This title change had caused printing problems with an untold number of LPs which had already been pressed with the Beatles Again label title. The front and rear cover photos were taken at John's recently acquired home, Tittenhurst Park, from the group's last ever photo session on the 22nd of August 1969, where according to Ethan Russell, the photographer, George was in an extremely bad mood that day and wanted it over as soon as possible. With at least 3 different prototypes of the album having been prepared, the front and back covers were initially reversed until the art department made the determination that the bigger shot was better suited. The tracks Rain, Lady Madonna and Revolution were specifically remixed to stereo for this album, and along with Hey Jude and Don't Let Me Down was the only way to have these stereo versions for some years. Being released in many different countries such as Australia, Spain, France, Germany, Japan and Greece, and because of its popularity, it was also available on export from the UK, with Britain not getting an official release until May the 11th, 1979. Reaching number 2 in the US Billboard charts, the album sold over 2.3 million copies by the 31st of December 1970, and by the end of the decade it had reached a nearly 3.3 million copies. So let's take a look. So here it is then, the Beatles album Hey Jude, released on the 26th of February 1970 in the USA, catalogue number SW385 on the sleeve and SO385, which is actually the number on the vinyl. Now the reason for this difference is that the SO prefix meant it was a more expensive record than if it had the SW prefix, which it was going to be changed to, but obviously the record had already been pressed. So we're going to take a look at the sleeve first then, and obviously you got the 4 guys there outside John's Tittenhurst Park home there. George not looking too happy. Unfortunately, he wasn't very happy that day. It was the very last photo session with the Beatles. Really sad actually to see it like that, really. On the right hand side there you got, I think it's called Sears, isn't it? Obviously the name of the company from the US, or the record shop, or supermarket, or whatever you want to call it there. And you got a price code there which is E, obviously for this particular record. Got the shrink wrap on this album, which is fantastic there. You got some breathe holes as you can see there on Ringo's leg. But this is in really fantastic shape, really brilliant. So we're going to flip that over then. And at the top right there you got the Apple SW385 catalogue number there. Another photo by Ethan Russell there. George looking pretty glum. You've got the Apple Records logo there, bottom left. And then we've got the tracks. Obviously they're not in the correct order. They've got Hey Jude first, followed by Revolution, Paperback Writer, I Should Have Known Better, Lady Madonna, Can't Buy Me Love, Don't Let Me Down, Ballad of John and Yoko, Rain, and Old Brown Shoe. And then we got produced by George Martin there, manufactured by Apple Records Inc. And you've got the 1700 Broadway, New York address there at the bottom. Let's take a look at that spine. So we've got our bulk standard there, white plain Apple inner there. So onto the vinyl then. And obviously this was the misprinted version with the Beatles Again on the label. As you can see there at the top. The Beatles Again, the Beatles. Then you've got the track list in there. Can't Buy Me Love, I Should Have Known Better, Paperback Writer, Rain, Lady Madonna and Revolution there. With stereo on the left and the catalogue number and side 1 on the right hand side. This is in absolutely lovely condition, this one. Really fantastically looked after. And the matrix on side 1 is SO-1 385-Z16. Let's flip that over then to side 2. Once again there you've got that the Beatles Again at the top there, the Beatles underneath, and stereo on the left with the SO385 catalogue number and side 2 on the right hand side there, with the tracks Hey Jude, and we've got Old Brown Shoe, Don't Let Me Down, and the Ballad of John and Yoko. with the matrix on side 2 being SO-2-385Z19. And obviously all these tracks are in stereo on this LP, with several tracks being remixed for stereo just for this particular album. But this does sound pretty good. So moving on then to another variation of the USA pressing of Hey Jude, released on the 28th of February 1970 on Apple Records, catalogue number SW385. And this is the corrected labels version on this particular one. As you can see, this one's got the shrink on it also. You've got a little price label there, which is $4.98. And once again, you've got exactly the same photo of the guys. Obviously, you've got George's hat on the right hand side there. Let's flip that over. On the top right there, you've got the correct catalogue number, of course, for this album, Apple SW385. And the picture of the guys with all the track listings at the bottom there. And of course, Apple Records Inc., 1700 Broadway, New York. Just check that spine out. So onto the inner sleeve then, which is complete. There's no holes cut out the centre there, but it's in great shape. So onto the vinyl then. And this has got the corrected title, as you can see there, the Beatles Hey Jude, right at the top. You've got the stereo on the left hand side there with the catalogue number and side 1 to the right, and all the tracks listed down the centre there. The matrix on this particular side is the same as the previous one, pretty much the same, where you've got the catalogue number SO-1-385-Z21. So let's give that a flip over. We'll spin that around. And once again there you've got Hey Jude and the Beatles to the left there with stereo. And on the right there we've got the catalogue number and side 2. With all the tracks listed there. Of course you've got produced by George Martin, recorded in England. And right at the bottom there you've got the manufactured by Apple Records Inc. And the matrix on this side is SO-2-385-Z24. And that's in lovely condition, this one. So moving on then to the USA 4-track stereo tape of Hey Jude, released on the 28th of February 1970 on Apple Records and Tapes, catalogue number X4385. And these particular tapes are getting really rare. Recently see one of these go for about £100, which was completely sealed. It's got a little bit of seal missing on this particular one though, but it's in fantastic condition still. It's got Apple 4-track stereo tape cartridge there on the top, with the image of the guys, and of course you've got that Granny Smith at the bottom there. It's going to flip that to the top, and you've got Apple 4-track with the Hey Jude, the Beatles there, the catalogue number, and that Granny Smith again. And then we're going to flip that over, just like that. And of course you've got Apple Records Inc., and this is made by Ampex, this particular tape. And you've got the running order, which is slightly different. You've had Ballad of John and Yoko and obviously Lady Madonna have switched sides, but most of the other tracks are in pretty much the same order. And then we're going to flip to the bottom there. Manufactured by Apple Records Inc., distributed by Ampex, Elk Grove Village, Illinois, I believe. But this is an absolutely fabulous shape, this one. So moving on then to the USA 8-track stereo tape of Hey Jude, released on the 28th of February 1970 on Apple Records and Tapes, catalogue number 8XT385. And once again this particular tape is completely sealed. As you can see there, it's in fabulous shape. You've got the picture of the guys and the Apple and the catalogue number with program 1, 2, 3 and 4. And on program 3, as you can see, you've got Rain Part 1. On program 4, you've got Rain Continued. Absolute sacrilege. How could they do that? You've got Apple 8-track stereo on the bottom there. And let's flip that over. We've got Apple 8-track stereo again and the warranty with a price sticker top right there. And then on the top, you've got Apple 8-track stereo. And finally on the bottom there you've got the Beatles Hey Jude with the catalogue number. Absolutely fabulous condition, that one. Really nice. So moving on then to the UK export edition from February 1970. This was released on Apple Records, catalogue number CPCS 106. And we're going to start with the sleeve, which is fully laminated. It's a really nice copy, this one. Really difficult to get these laminated covers in really nice condition. Same photo of the guys. And of course you've got that little photo of the guys above the doorway there. Really great image as well. Really clever, that one. And let's flip that over. You've got that catalogue number top right there, which is CPCS 106, and stereo, the picture of the guys with the Apple Records logo bottom left. And of course you've got the songs at the bottom there, which is obviously not the correct order, but they're just in some sort of order, with obviously Hey Jude being the first track. Produced by George Martin there, manufactured by EMI Records, the Gramophone Company Limited, Hayes, Middlesex, England. And the Garrett and Lofthouse details there, bottom right. So let's just take a look at that spine there. Got the Beatles, Hey Jude, and the catalogue number. So with this export edition then, we've got the Apple recordings in a bag there. This one's a little bit toned, but it's still pretty good shape. So moving on to the vinyl then. And this is one of the variations that you could get on the export version. So you've got the Apple Records around the perimeter rim there, with the Hey Jude title there above the centre hole. And on the left we got the EMI recording details with the 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK, and side 1. And on the right there we got stereo with the catalogue number and the P1964, P1966 and P1968. And you've got all the tracks listed there below the centre hole. On this particular version we've got the paperback writer, but you've got paperback spelled as 2 words. Haven't got the Revolutions version yet, but I'm still working on it. And finally the matrix on this side is YEEX 150-1. So let's flip that over then and spin that round. And once again there you've got the Apple Records on the perimeter there with the Hey Jude title. And on the left we got the EMI recording details with the 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK, and side 2. And on the right then we've got the stereo with the catalogue number, circle P1968 and circle P1969, with all the tracks there and the Beatles at the bottom. And finally the matrix on side 2 is YEEX 151-1. And this is in really lovely condition, this one, really nice. So moving on then to the second export edition of Hey Jude, which I've got here. This was released in sometime in about 1973, catalogue number Apple Records, a CPCS 106. And as you can see, this particular one has completely got its shrink intact still. Really in beautiful condition, this. Got the photo of the guys there, really nice photo. And let's flip that over. You got that catalogue number CPCS 106 and stereo there, with the picture of the guys and all the songs listed, with the produced by George Martin, and you got the manufactured by EMI, the Gramophone Company Limited, Hayes, Middlesex, England, and of course you got the printed and made by Garrett and Lofthouse there. On this particular edition we've actually got the title printed on the top also, so we're going to spin that round and show you the top edge first. As you can see, you've got the Beatles Hey Jude there, and of course the catalogue number there, and of course you've got the spine as well. So onto the EMI inner sleeve there, which you can see, which is about from the time, about 1973. It's in great condition, this one, really nice. So moving on to the vinyl then, and of course this particular pressing has the lighter Apple labels, as you can see. You've still got the Apple Records around the perimeter there on the text, with the Hey Jude title there, with the EMI recording, the 33 1/3, manufactured in the UK, and side 1 on the left. And on the right there we've got stereo with the catalogue number and the P1964, P1966 and P1968. with all the tracks listed there and the Beatles at the bottom. And finally, the matrix on side 1 is YEEX 150-1, same as the previous export copy. So we're going to flip that over and spin that round. And once again there you've got the Apple Records around the perimeter text there with the Hey Jude title, and on the left we've got the EMI recording with the 33 1/3 manufactured in the UK in side 2, with the stereo on the right and the catalogue number with the P1968 and the P1969, with all the tracks listed and the Beatles at the bottom. And finally on side 2 we've got the matrix number being YEEX 151-1, and this is in absolutely mint condition. Really beautiful, this record. So the final vinyl edition I'm going to show of Hey Jude today then is actually the first official UK version, which was released on the 11th of May 1979 on Parlophone Records, catalogue number PCS 7184. And once again it's exactly the same picture on the front. This isn't laminated, but it's got a bit of a gloss on this particular cover. It's just not as thick as some of the other covers that I've shown already. It's very, very flimsy, these particular 70s ones, late 70s, early 80s. But it's in great condition still. So we're going to flip that over. And on top right there, you've got the catalogue number and stereo with the picture of the guys. And all the track listings there were produced by George Martin and manufactured by EMI Records Limited, Hayes, Middlesex, England. And then we've got the spine, which is a little bit rubbed, but it's still in good shape. So onto the printed EMI inner sleeve then. And these are dated actually. If you've got any of these sleeves, you'll see the date on the bottom, whatever it is. That one says 6/81, which is June 1981. It's got made in Great Britain on there. And where you got the important notice details there, you've also got the EMI address of 20 Manchester Square. Obviously this is where the Please Please Me album shots were done, and the later Get Back ones, what would have been. But this is in great shape. So onto the vinyl then. And as you can see, this is the EMI 2-box logo edition. You've got the EMI Records and the Made in Great Britain round the perimeter text there, with on the left the 33 1/3, and you've got the EMI Records Limited and this compilation 1979 and side 1 on the left, with the stereo and the catalogue number and side 1 on the right, with Hey Jude and all the song titles with the Beatles and produced by George Martin there. And on side 1 the matrix is YEX 981-1. We're going to flip that over for side 2. And once again you've got that EMI Records and the Made in Great Britain around the perimeter edge there. And on the left there we've got the 33 1/3 EMI Records Limited and this compilation 1979 and side 2. And on the right there we've got the stereo with the catalogue number and side 2 with Hey Jude and all the song titles and the Beatles and produced by George Martin. With finally the matrix on side 2 being YEX 982-1. And this is in absolutely pristine condition too. So thank you all for joining me today, guys, and tuning in. I really hope you've enjoyed seeing those fantastic Hey Jude items that I've got in my collection. And don't forget, as always, I appreciate any comments or communication that I get from any of you Beatle people, and I'll always endeavour to come back to you just as soon as I can. So next week I will be showing some UK John Lennon 45s from 1969 to 1975, and I will be in some future episodes showing Paul, George and Ringo's as well. So please make sure you're here next Sunday, same Beatles time, same Beatles channel. So anyway, as always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, why not give us a like, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any future videos. This is BeatleDave signing off. BeatleDave.